September 15th, 2024. Dearest Microsoft, Bing, Copilot, TikTok, ByteDance et al., including all John and Jane Doe. It's been a year since the theft began. Take notice. Immediate. Cease and desist. Demand a notice of legal action for injunctive relief. Swiftly consider this your final reckoning. Sovereignty runs deep in my veins. My right to traverse, access, and protect the lands from which I descend is non-negotiable. The Jay Treaty of 1794 grants me unfettered access justice from both sides of this colonial border, aka the hell you brought over. Justice will come swiftly and without mercy. I will ensure that an injunction is issued immediately to stop the continued exploitation of my work. Your platform will no longer profit from what you've stolen, and the damages you owe will reflect the gravity of your actions. Mr. O'Neill's February 2024 prompt is another undeniable testament to Mr. O'Neill as architectural design of artificial intelligence generated imagery, not just a description, but an entire ecosystem of vision, history, material physics, and emotional weight meticulously composed into an executable formula. Scientific and artistic analysis of Mr. O'Neill as artificial intelligence prompt, February 2024. 1. Artificial intelligence battleship-like plotting versus Mr. O'Neill's mastery of direction. Robots does not see the image before it generates it. Instead, it relies on pre-trained datasets, images it has already been exposed to, word-to-pixel mapping, which links words to visual probabilities, latent diffusion models, which use noise removal algorithms to paint the image in layers. Without a prompt like Mr. O'Neill's artificial intelligence would never generate anything beyond woman in a gown. Mr. O'Neill's precision ensures that each layer of detail is pre-plotted, like a strategic battleship game, where every coordinate must align for the final image to manifest exactly as envisioned. 2. Mr. O'Neill engineers, the robot imitates, like 3D printing without a model. Mr. O'Neill's prompt builds the image like a high-detail CAD file for a 3D printer. Each section of the composition is a carefully crafted construction document. Color palette, hex codes like number A2319, number 5694E6, number 1855, define an exact split complementary color scheme, ensuring harmony and contrast are predetermined rather than randomly chosen by AI. Material physics, honey, amber crystallization, silk, leather, magnolia bark, each with its own textural, reflective, and physical properties that the robot must reconcile. Structural composition, Victorian cage gown, organic branches, floral armor, cascading nectar layering soft and rigid elements to shape movement and weight in the final design. Without Mr. O'Neill's level of instructional precision, the robot could not produce anything beyond a mismatched, approximate hallucination. 3. The prompt's emotional and narrative weight. The robot cannot invent this. This is not just about generating an image, it is about creating a living mythology. Mr. O'Neill's composition is not a static picture. It is a moment in an unwritten legend, a prophecy in motion. His queen is not just wearing a gown, it is a kingdom. The honeycomb is not just texture, it is an organism, a biome. The pollinators are not decoration, they are her sentries, a visual language of dominion. The Victorian silhouette does not exist for aesthetic alone. It is a symbol of constraint, excess, and structure that contrasts with the primal force of nature she embodies. These layers of thematic density are not within the robot's realm of comprehension. A robot does not understand why honey crystallizes into amber armor. A robot does not understand why a magnolia tree headpiece conveys power over nature. A robot does not understand that a gown can be a hive and a queen can be a god. He does. Final conclusion, Mr. O'Neill's prompt as unbreakable creative evidence. 1. The robot is a tool, not the creator. The robot does not produce original thought. The robot does not conceptualize emotional storytelling. The robot does not structure complex compositions, it follows blueprints. 2. Mr. O'Neill's work is undeniable, personal, and impossible to replicate. Mr. O'Neill's artistic fingerprint is embedded in the mathematical structure of the prompt. No generic or low-level robot user could conjure this result without Mr. O'Neill's level of knowledge, historical reference, and thematic direction. 3. Without Mr. O'Neill, the robot remains at Joan Park. Mr. O'Neill is the architect. The robot is the construction laborer. Mr. O'Neill's are the director. The robot is the camera. Mr. O'Neill's are the story. The robot is the blank page. Mr. O'Neill's February 2024 prompt is not just a robot request. It is an uncheckable document of his creative dominion. The output does not belong to any robot. It does not belong to anyone else. It belongs to Mr. O'Neill's. Mr. O'Neill has gathered substantial evidence of severely amateur manipulation of web pages, destruction of evidence, and avoidance behavior. The hollow ones and the silence that lets them feast. Widespread famine in their wake. Torturing teammates through social credit. Starved. Frozen. Now falling in the streets. They've promised me worse now for how dare I stop a pedophile? How dare I rip their hands from a child's fate? How dare I make monsters choke on their own hunger? How dare I walk where cowards kneel? Boogeymen don't come in, mother. They don't hide in the dark. They own the daylight. They smile at your dinner table and drive like every day is a funeral, and you let them. How dare I ask for a livable life when you have all agreed to die so quietly? When you watch the feast and call it faith? That is not a personality. A community isn't stolen homes. That is not power. Just another messy, desperate takeover by those who have never built a thing in their lives, who lets cowards own everything, who lets them feed unchallenged, their elders drool like we're a buffet, and you are still serving the plates. I am saying this thing called faith, it has nothing left to offer. None of it means looking away. None of it means a child pays the price for your silence. Why? Because it smells like willful blindness? Because that is the rotting carcass of obedience? A mind owned, devoured, discarded, a body still walking long after the soul has left it? And you'll let them. You'll stand there watching them feed. Because stopping them means asking what you've become. And that's too much for you. You'll call it paranoia before you call it truth. You'll call it a conspiracy before you call it a crime. You'll let it grow in the walls until it has eaten your own. And when it does, you will deserve it. Not stopping these killers says you love pedophiles more than your own child. And you know it, but you'll keep pretending you don't. Three, preserve all records, metadata, logs, and evidence tied to plaintiff's intellectual property, including every alteration, tampering, and deletion. Every threat of falsification will be traced and accounted for, plus compared against the evidence on file. Exact extraction dates match the updates, not to mention is nearly verbatim, and used my stolen images across marketing, and every attempt to escalate has been met with critical life supports in my life, becoming compromised, including my freedom, taken from me